Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and it's Friday, September 20th, which means it's the official release date for Transformers 1. So I figured, to celebrate the day, let's take a look at this guy. From Takara Tommy, this is Brave Commander Optimus Prime from Transformers 1. If you remember, we last year we looked at a Optimus Primal from Rise of the Beast that was a little bit like a leader class toy, couple spring-loaded gimmicks, but it kind of worked in with the weaponizer line. And this is kind of the same thing. That this is a, I mean, kind of leader class in terms of size and price point, like the older leader class that we know and love, but with a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but with a few play gimmicks. That it's really meant to go with the main line Transformers 1 toy line and not anything from Generations. This is a fantastic figure, though. I think actually fantastic might be a little strong. This is a good figure. Um, I don't think I enjoy it quite as much as that Optimus Primal. I don't think it does as much, but it's really nice. And I'll go ahead and say this is probably the best Transformers One Optimus Prime figure uh, we have released thus far. And I think it's the best representation to what the character can do in the movie and how it appears in the movie. So, without further ado, let's get it over to the box and take a closer look.
Okay, so starting off in robot mode, um, as you can see, Prime comes with two accessories. It's Energon Axe, which I think plays a big part in the film. Now, I do want to say that I have noticed a few times when posing the figure that the wrist will droop a little, but if you push it back up, it does hold. So it's really a little sensitive to movement. Also, the instructions show being able to rotate the axe once it's pegged onto the hand, and it's really from the shaft here. But looking into down the shaft, it looks like it's like a square peg in a round hole. So I really wouldn't recommend rotating anything. The axe can store in robot mode here on the back, just like so, just like every other Optimus Prime. The hands are articulated. Unlike that Optimus Primal from last year, the fingers are not individually articulated. It's just one grippy type of hand. When they're done like that, I will freely admit that it is a little tricky to get them in a natural looking type of pose. Um, the next gimmick it does have in this mode, we can actually take a go ahead, pull down this front panel here, get my hand in there, and flip up the windshield. And it does come with the Matrix of Leadership, which is the only other separate accessory it comes with. It is removable, can be held in the hands. We've seen one, you've seen them all. Uh, there is a face changing gimmick where if you lift up on Prime's head, it'll pop up like so, and then rotate around on pivot point that you can get the face of Orion Pax. Now, I'll be very honest. Um, I have some issues with these face changing gimmicks and also the interchangeability of Orion Pax and Optimus Prime. Now, from what I've been able to gather from the trailers and already released or previewed toys, we're basically going to have like a three-stage of transformation to Orion Pax. There's Orion Pax without a cog who can't transform. There will be Orion Pax after he gets the cog and can transform. And then I guess when he gets the Matrix of Leadership, the full birth to Optimus Prime. So I guess this can represent Orion Pax after it's gotten its transformation cog and is on its way. But if this is solely meant, but judging by the design, this looks like what Optimus Prime is supposed to look like fully in the film, which really, that should not be Orion Pax's head. That should just be a retractable face mask. And I do believe that Orion Pax and Optimus Prime without a face mask could, could look different. I also just generally don't like the idea of retractable face masks. I mean, characters who have faces. Characters who don't have like plates and what have you. That's what they should stay with. Now, one thing I should mention is the gimmick for changing the faces kind of limits the head articulation. It is on a ball joint, and you can get some quite a bit of movement, but you have to, when moving it up, you have to be careful that you're not going to engage the face changing gimmick. Like right about here is where about where I can get it. I think I can get him to look up a little more, but then you unpeg the panel the head sits on. So just a little bit of a note there. Um, all the joints are fairly tight, except I would say like the ankles here are a little bit loose, and there isn't like a natural stopping point for them. But other than that, the arms move out on those platforms there. They rotate there. You have a nice, neat elbow bend. We took a look at the hands, saw the swivel. There's a bicep swivel here, which unfortunately is on a mushroom peg that on I think on this arm, if you spin it around too much, will have a tendency to slide off, which is a little bit of an issue because that is necessary for the transformation. You have a waist joint right here, and of course, ratcheting in the legs, swivel, and a nice knee bend. So again, you have a fairly articulated Optimus Prime. Now, the final gimmick I'm going to show you is one that's actually we've seen in the trailers used. You come around to the back here, on the back of the arms are these black levers that if we depress them, engage them, blasters will spring forward. Now, this works in tandem with the smokestacks that are supposed to rotate forward. And on this figure, they actually have a definite locking point. So right now they're a little bit loose. So we're just going to leave them like that. But by the way, three blast effect ports. These do not have blast effect ports. And to just reset it, you want to go ahead, push it back, and close the arm back up. So it's a nice little gimmick there that is accurate to the movie, at least from what we've seen in the trailers. I have not seen the movie yet, so and we do know that trailers do have a tendency to be a little dishonest and inaccurate. Now, we do want to take a look at the backpack. All of the Transformer 1 Primes have had this backpack, and to be honest with you, I think it's okay. It's not too big. Now, does actually form a fake cab of sorts, but we'll get to that in the transformation, which we'll do right now. So we're actually going to start at the backpack, and the first step is open up this panel here. And what I would recommend is just going in now and folding out these little side panels. Much like Studio Series 86 Prime, this transformation hinges on, pardon the pun, uh, little panels like that. So just open them up just to get them out of the way. Next, what we can do is open up this back section and bring it down like so. Go ahead and rotate this backpack around, and what we can then do is start to open up this section here as we'll fold out, fold up, fold out these sides. And this is something that I didn't catch right away, but these little panels here, they're on a slider, so you want to make sure that they slide in and out. I just thought it was like a little loose plastic, but it actually is a sliding type of gimmick. So with that done, the next thing we can do is bring the arms down on this hinge here off to the side. And what I would do is now we're going to break the waist and telescope everything up like so. Now, interesting little thing. We're going to fold the head down. What has to happen is this panel, as you see, has to sit in a certain way to give the head clearance. So once that's done, you don't have to worry about it, but just make sure everything's up. Now with these arms, we're going to rotate it around, and this is like a tiny little detail, but it is important. There's right where my finger is a little tab. There's a groove on the arm that the tab is not going to peg in. It's not going to peg, but it's going to slide into just like that. Do it again on this side. You might accidentally trigger the weapon gimmick, and that will help hold the arms into place. Next, what we can do is start to bring this back panel up and around. So straighten that up. That will fold in like that. And this will come all the way over like so. And at this point, there are tabs on the cab that will help peg into the arms. And now those little gray sections that we folded out at the beginning, slot on, there's a tab and a slot that they're just going to slide into. And that will hopefully, I mean, it might come loose, but it's one of these deals where it all come together in the end. So now that you have that done, go ahead and fold this whole section out. And what'll happen now is there's going to be, uh, you want to make sure that this is flat, that those slots right there peg into on an angle of sorts the tabs at the bottom of that back panel. Now we can rotate the figure over so we're looking at it. What I guess you can say is the bottom. And then rotate the arms 180 degrees, bend them up at the elbow. The elbow can bend both ways. Bring them up like this. Fold the fists down. And then you're going to rotate them inward. There's a tab and slot on each forearm that will come together like that. That can be a little fiddly. Let me just tell you right now. And why we have it here, go ahead and rotate the smokestacks around so they're in position like that. And see, just holding it, I disengaged that connection. Don't worry, there's going to be, the legs are going to lock into the forearms that will help hold it into place. And while we're here, flip up these panels that will form the wheels, the front wheels, I should say. Turn it back over, um, rotate the figure at the waist, and I know I just undid this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's not play with it for now. Make sure everything's pegged in. And I just did it again. It has to do with like where I'm grabbing it. It's my own fault, not the fault of the toy. So we're going to come into the side of the leg here, and we're going to come in and fold this panel down, fold out, get your finger in there, and fold out this gray panel. Do it again on this side. This side's a little bit easier because there's a tab. And then come in and fold out this section. Now, it's my fault. I'm just, but you do see how it can be a little fiddly. That if there was maybe another connection on the other side, but anyway, um, now that you have that done, what we're going to do is collapse the leg down on itself. And the first time you do this, it is very tight. Now the instructions, I got to tell you, are kind of funny. They actually have you leave. They don't explain that you have to completely fold it up. They actually have you leave it like this, but you are going to fold the leg all the way down. It'll peg this part will peg into the ankle, and you might as well just go ahead as you're doing that and secure the arm into place. And it'll just like so. There's a tab there. So do it again on this side, and again bring that up, peg it in up here. And then what we're going to do is these panels will come down and they're going to interlock and peg together. And why on the bottom here, these will go in and then those will go in just like that. You can now adjust the forearms properly, keep the wheels straight, and then to finish it off, close up the heel, bring the foot down, close up the heel, bring the foot down, and here we have Optimus Prime in its truck mode. The axe can peg into the side here, uh, just like so. Like, and you see how the ankles can still move, so you still have that. So you have a very smooth rolling figure here. And of course, these arm guns are still deployable. And now, through the magic of transformation, they will face forward just like so. Not bad. Um, it's a very dense vehicle mode. Yes, and again, since it's kid friendly, it is hollow here on the bottom. But I like how the legs come together and lock everything up. So you do have that. Okay, so now I think to be nice and fair, I will take us back into uh, robot mode. So, oh, actually, before that, you'll notice here on the rear that these gray panels form this area with a hole and a slot. Now, the peg for the axe is not long enough to peg in there. It's also a little thick. It'll fit into the gray section, but it doesn't peg down all the way. I do believe, bringing in the trailer from Studio Series 86, this fits in perfectly. And there you have Optimus Prime towing the trailer for Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. Transformers 1 Prime, Studio Series 86 Prime. I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if this means that down the line we're going to be getting a re release of this figure with some sort of trailer. I kind of hope not. I can't imagine the price, but it's there. So once we've done that, to go back into robot mode, you want to close up these side panels, and the guns do clip into place. It's just kind of hard for my arms to get in there. Let me just close these up since I'm hitting it. Go ahead, you can rotate the smokestacks around if you want. I guess you can leave them forward for extra guns in vehicle mode. Not really sure. But come around to the back here, split the legs, detach them just like that. Bring them down. They'll fold up, snap into place. Close up that panel, flip the foot up. Going to vehicle mode, I would say the legs and just bringing the cab over, the fake top part, that can be a little fiddly. Going to robot mode, I would say closing up the backpack can be a little fiddly and getting everything collapsed back down. So once you have the legs done like that, rotate this around so it's facing underneath, but then we're going to come underneath, rotate the arms up, down, around, up, hold the hand down, rotate at the bicep, uh, unpeg from here, start untabbing. Let me just adjust. Start untabbing the cab here, all these arm joints, fold out those tabs here. You know, that I like how those little tabs are there just to complete that back look. That I can appreciate that if that makes sense. But bring this up, bring it back, um, bring the arms down like so along the sides. You slide them off of those runners, bring those out, fold this up, fold that up, fold that down like so, like just fold it up like that. While we have it here, rotate it around, close up those panels. Uh, at this point, we can flip out the head. Remember, you want to have that panel right there, uh, sitting up a little just so the head has clearance. Snap the panel into place. At this point, we can collapse the torso down, forward, back, um, tabs in the front, tabs along the side there. And then finally, we bring up this back panel. There are grooves here on the side. They're going to sit in the middle. Actually, before we do that, bring the arm up, bring that in, because those are actually have more tabs that this can sit into, that will sit into the back of the backpack. There we go. Give it a little push, secure it in place. There's a tab here at the bottom. That locks in, that locks in. Pull that panel down. Hopefully that all came across rather easily, but there we have Optimus back in its robot mode. Put the axe back on the hand. And yeah, so all in all, not a bad figure. So I think what we'll do now is we'll pause and I'll come back with my final thoughts. Like I said at the beginning, I think Brave Commander Optimus Prime is a fun figure. It's a good figure, but not a great figure. I think the transformations and spots can be a little fiddly, but once you do it a couple times, you'll learn some tricks and stuff that'll help guide you through the way. I think it's kind of suffering a little just from the fact that I got Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime first, and that is just so much better. It's such a better toy, and so far beyond what this figure is. Because again, this figure is meant to fit into the main line, which is the kid-friendly retail straight line, obviously. But it's meant also for a little bit for the collectors with the extra articulation. Now, I got this figure from Amazon Japan. That's where it's available right now. I do believe there it's also you can get it try other import shops, but I think Amazon Japan has the lowest price. And again, it's Amazon, but in Japan. So you do get the Amazon customer service that you might want and desire. Um, Other than that, Hasbro Pulse should be getting it sooner than later. And if you've ever wondered why a figure like this just doesn't show up on regular retail shelves, keep in mind that Takara, the Japanese tradition, I should say, is the price per figure. In America, we have to price per wave, per size class. And something like this, I think, falls between like Voyager and Leader or Leader and Commander, and because of that, if they price it too low, they might lose money. And they price it too high, you'll have to put up with people like me complaining about it. So there's that. But just a thought for on the day on that. But yeah, I'm happy with it. And as I said, this is the best Transformers 1 Optimus Prime, Orion Pax, whatever figure we've gotten thus far. I don't know if we're going to get another go around in the Studio Series, maybe a Voyager or Leader, but let me just say that this is much better than that Studio Series Deluxe. The Prime Changer, you don't have the fake cab, but this might be more accurate. So there's that. Plus, you get the shoulder gimmicks. So that might be a little bit more of a closer argument point, but definitely it's better than the Studio Series one. So that's about it. If you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe. Well, I will always appreciate the views, the likes, comments, and subscriptions. Help communicate to YouTube through the algorithm that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. I want to make the ultimate sign of support. I do have a Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/truckdog1999. All I ask for is $1 a month, $12 a year. No thrills, no tears, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you to help me help you bring figures like this to you, as well as keeping up the infrastructure of the channel. But as I always say, if you can't afford the $1 a month or $12 a year, your views are more than thanks enough. Patreon is just the cherry on top of an already generous Sunday. So that's about it. Once again, For brave Commander Optimus Prime, this is your old pal Chuck, and we will see you next time.